Okay, so there's not really many cars out there that make me excited because I'm dead inside, except for this. Yes, the BYD Seal is finally here. I've been waiting a long time to get my hands on this thing. It's available in 3 flavors, 3 different ranges, 3 different prices. It's all there on the screen. But look at it! What a magnificent piece of art on wheels. Let's take it for a drive. And what a place to be. Yeah, sure, I might be crawling along in Auckland traffic on a Friday night right now, but it doesn't matter because I am cocooned in luxury. I mean, look at the interior design. It is snazzy. Everything's refined, everything's cool, the stitching work looks fantastic, the design is sweet, even the clunks on things like the center console are as solid as Grandma's advice. One thing I do like though, and it's a bit narcissistic, but I quite like that this car turns heads. It's quite a novelty for me. Speaking of turning, this thing also has a 15.6-inch central display, which is touchscreen, controls everything, and it turns. Check this out. How cool is that? And of course now I can see the built-in map that has real-time traffic information on it. Honestly, this car has everything. And I should add that right now I'm sitting on a ventilated seat with my electronic lumbar control set just right, and it means the Netherlands are being chilled to perfection. One thing I have to keep in mind though is that even now in economy mode, if I depress the accelerator just a little bit, it is evident that this is a high-performance car. There's 3 flavors of this car I mentioned at the start of the video. This is the high-performance one. This is the one with all the power, which is utterly useless right now in Auckland motorway traffic, but we will get a chance to use it, I promise. I really do love the fact though that BYD have brought back a sedan, because lately all the cars you can buy are all crossovers, you know, small, tall hatchbacks. And those are great, they're functional, they're useful, they're sensible, dependable, and all those other words that end in ibble. But this, well, this is fun. BYD have taken a chance and made a truly sleek, low-slung family car. To be fair, the average age of the new BYD Seal buyer right at this moment is the older gentleman, which is me. But that just means they have good taste, right? Wait a minute, as we settle into the journey, I think I found something I'm not in love with, and that is the interior color. It is black and gray, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of black and gray interiors. I've lived with those for 30 years. Please give us some color. I know the BYD Seal is available in more interior options. The one I saw at Field Days was the first time I saw one of these cars. That had the faintest powder blue interior combo that was just so gently different. I really, really liked it. Fell in love with that interior. So BYD, if you're watching this, please, please offer other color options for the interior for the New Zealand market, please. As for the exterior design though, well, just look at it. It is, in one word, sleek. Everything about it is sleek. I mean, you start with the headlights. It's got those double U headlights. Then of course you go back into the sills even have details added to them. Then of course there's this door indentations in the side. They look pretty cool. Of course the roofline sweeps right back. As for wheels, the dynamic version, the entry-level version, comes with 18-inch wheels as standard. However, the premium and performance versions, they come with 19-inch wheels. And look at the wheels on this beastie. Kind of like that arachnid style. Really cool. That gives you a clue, along with the ventilated disc brakes, that this is a car not to be messed with. I assume, I don't know, we're stuck in Auckland. How would we know? Hang on a second, why am I driving? This car has self-driving software. Let me chuck it on. Alright, just as easy as pressing that button on the steering wheel. I set my max speed to, I don't know, 90. It's never going to get to that. And I take my foot off the accelerator. Now, will this stop? Oh, look at that. How smooth is it? Oh, that I would have stopped like that. But is it going to care? Ah, look at this. It's doing it all. I don't have to get frustrated at all. Alright, let's turn on the lane keeping. Just rest my fingers on the steering wheel, ready to take over at any sec. Gosh, BYD's come such a long way. Oh, I know this car's out of my budget, but I'm going to buy a lottery ticket because this feels good. No, stay objective, stay objective. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to put on my hat of impartiality and I'll find things to hate very soon, I promise. Also, I'm sick of driving in traffic, so in the next scene, with a click of my fingers, you're going to see me doing highway speed. And just like that, we're on the Waikato Expressway doing 106 k's an hour. We're on coarse chip roads, but the interior noise is very low. It's really well insulated, this machine. And that's great because as a family car, you want quietness on New Zealand's coarse roads. Let's talk family car though. Let's look at space, starting with the front. And if you lift the bonnet, under the bonnet there is a 50-litre fartment, which is great for potatoes or charging cables. Moving into the cockpit, both the front driver's seat and passenger seat are electronically adjustable. This one also has lumbar support, electronically adjustable as well, which is just in the right spot. Of course, it's ventilated as well, and they're both seated heats as well. And of course, this one also has a heated steering wheel. In the back, however, I mean, look how much legroom this is. This is a deceptively large car. You might think that because it's a sleek-looking sedan, it's small. No, there's lots of legroom owing to its 2.9 meter wheelbase. Honestly, there's so much room in this thing. I should add, though, that at 5'10", the headroom just above my head in the back, there's only really about an inch, so I wouldn't want to be more than 6 feet tall and ride in the back in this car. Also, the footroom is a little bit snug, but there is bucket loads of legroom. Opening up the boot, however, which can be done with a key, you'll find 400 litres of space, plenty of room for golf clubs, and if you drop the seats down, there is suddenly enough room for a pasty potato enthusiast to lie all the way down. Yes, you could fit a mattress in the back and take this car camping. The car next to me is slowing down and speeding up, and they're both twisting their heads to look at it. It's a real head turner, this car. Now, all three versions of this car are dripping with technology. Like, even the entry-level version has more gadgets than a Swiss Army knife on steroids. But this one, the top spec one, goes a little bit further. It's got a long list of gadgets like memory seats and heated steering wheel, heads-up display, all that sort of stuff. But all of them come with lots of stuff as standard. For example, they all come with a vehicle-to-load adapter. That's this device you plug into the side of the car, turns this car into a giant four-wheeled battery bank. Great if you get a power cut through climate-related disasters, of which there's a growing number. So if you want to get the heads up on that, you want to make an actual positive difference towards fighting climate change, join Ecotricity. Ecotricity is New Zealand's only certified climate positive electricity provider. So if you're tired of waiting for governments to act, just act yourself and save some money while you're doing it, because all of the electricity Ecotricity supplies is from wind, hydro and solar. No dirty coal, no expensive gas, nothing like that. So sign up at ecotricity.co.nz, join the good fight, leave the planet in a better place for your kids and save some cash on the side. There is literally no downside. Go to ecotricity.co.nz, a couple of mouse clicks, you join the good fight. You can't get any better of a sales pitch than that. No downsides. Go on, click on it. What are you waiting for? Now, all these cars come with particulate matter filters built in, but the Seal goes a step further. It has a CN95 filter as well, which means that it's not letting aerosols through. It's blocking tiny dirt particles and even some viruses. So this is like a health clinic on wheels. On the subject of wellness, let's talk safety, and this car is ridiculously safe. If you look at the list of safety options there on this 5-star safety rated car, it just goes on and on and on and on. Plus, they've also made the battery part of the car's structural integrity, and you might be thinking, well, hang on, that doesn't sound like a good idea. Wait till you see this footage I stole from BYD, which they crash a Seal into a barrier, and then they do the exact same thing on the other side after it's crashed, and then they took the battery out of that crash car, which had been deformed slightly, and were able to stick it into another BYD Seal and just drive away. That's how safe it is. Plus, if you look at this other footage that I stole, I've been stealing a lot of footage for this video, you'll see that they've harpooned a typical NMC electric car battery, and it got a little spicy, as you can see. But then they did the exact same thing to the BYD Blade batteries that they use in these cars, and look at that. They've harpooned the battery, they've basically shot it, and it keeps on going. The temperature barely changes, the voltage barely changes. You can shoot your battery pack, don't, but you can shoot your battery pack and keep on driving. You can't do that with a tank of gas, at least not according to the movies. But now that we're into the open road, I'm going to put it into normal mode, take it out of eco. I'll save sport mode for later, stay tuned. But right now let's talk more gadgets, because it doesn't end there. It's got a very Tesla-like feature that I like. It's got 2 wireless phone charging ports right here in front of the driver. Of course, it also has androgynous auto and Appalachian CarPlay, which is wireless as well. Very, very good, liking that. Of course, this being a BYD, it also has the famous 360-degree bird's eye camera system, which I can turn on with the button on the steering wheel. And look at that. Oh, look at that. We've got a bird's eye view here, and you can even change it to 3D while driving. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's probably not safe, but I won't look. I'll just spin it. And I know without looking that it spins so effortlessly fast. Look how little lag there is on this thing. Honestly, this changes position faster than a teenager's mood swings. And one other thing this car has is child presence detection. So if you are forgetful like me, it will remind you that you've left your kid in the back seat, which is good for idiots like me, because if I had kids, I'd be leaving one at every rapid charger. And on the subject of charging, if you were to charge this car at home using a wall-mounted 7-kilowatt charger like this one I have in my garage, then you're looking at about 8 hours for a full charge. What about DC charging speeds, however? Let's say you're on a road trip. Well, for that, we've got to go to a DC rapid charger. Well, right behind me is a 300 kilowatt hyper rapid charger from ChargeNet. ChargeNet has hundreds of rapid chargers and a growing number of hyper rapid chargers all around New Zealand, and right now I've got the Seal plugged into this hyper rapid charger, which can handle 300 kilowatts, but This is the Achilles heel. This is the big downside I've found so far of the Seal, or at least the one I've got, is that it doesn't charge very quickly. It started DC charging quite fast, but to get from 20% to 80% full, which is a typical amount on a road trip, well, now it's been charging for 1 hour and 10 minutes and it's just got to 81%. So something's not right there. It's not charging very quickly on DC rapid charging. I spoke to BYD about this, but they weren't too worried because as this was the first time this car had ever been rapid charged in its life, they reckon the cells weren't balanced properly, so it won't likely be a problem in the future. Oh, and some other positive news about charging. Those hyper rapid stalls at Bombay are going to double in capacity in the next few days. But right now, what I'm going to do is get this thing home. It's been a long week. I'm going to charge it up, and then in the morning, I'm going to find out how this thing handles these beautiful country corners. It's another day and I'm going to do a 0 to 100 test. Now there's no launch control, but the car is in sport mode and the road is completely empty. All right, let's just mash the accelerator in 3, 2, 1. Oh, crikey. Far out. Oh, it ramps up. Good Lord, that would... That's like a squirrel on espresso. It just goes. By the time you've got used to the idea that you're accelerating, you're already at 100. Oh, that's dangerous. You're going to get some speeding tickets in this thing. Okay, well, now that we're here near my top secret driving road, let's see how this thing handles the corners. And here are the corners. First of all, let's swing this into sport mode. On the steering, let's turn the braking mode into sport mode. That should be all we need to do. Now let's throw this thing into some corners. And I'm expecting it to do well, but my benchmark for this vehicle is the Tesla Model 3, because in my mind, that is really one of the ultimate sedans in terms of handling. But this is also low slung. This is also wide. This has double wishbone front suspension. It has multi-link suspension on the back. So I'm expecting it to do very well. First corner. Oh my Lord, that's good. Okay, I apologize for that noise. But okay, this is very good. But it is also much, much more comfortable than the Tesla Model 3. So I'm wondering if it's going to suffer a little. The combination of the torque on all four wheels and the 2.2 tons almost mass, it just sticks to the road. It won't let go. It's like a stain on a white shirt. It's insane. I absolutely love it. That being said, because this car is a good blend of comfort and performance, it does waft a little bit more than the Tesla Model 3 when you get this thing over a bump. And that's the price you pay when you have a car that has comfort in mind. The Tesla, 9 out of 10 chiropractors recommend that one because your spine will need adjusting if you go over a bump. This one is much more of a happy family car compromise, but oh, you throw it into a corner like that, utterly effortless. This thing is magnificent. Utterly magnificent. Oh, oh, I can't believe they pay me to do this. Oh, I cannot believe how far Chinese manufacturing has come. This is just so refined. Go around the corner, slam the brakes on, dip into the left, power out. Oh, I love it. This thing is wicked. Seal repairs, huh? I hope not. This thing's running great. Oh, that's the end of it. Far out. You know the car's good when my top secret driving road ends like that. I love it. I really do. BYD, you've made a fine machine, but it's not all puppies and rainbows. We need to talk about things I hate. First thing is the slow AC charging speed. Only 7 kilowatts. Cars that cost a lot less, some of them can charge at 11 kilowatts. I know that's not really a big problem for New Zealand households because you need 3-phase power for 11 kilowatts. But, you know, some of the car makers offer 11 kilowatt charging. This one doesn't. Next thing on my list is the dark interior. Not a fan of it. Come on, BYD. I know you guys offer other color combos in different countries. Give us that in New Zealand too. Next complaint is that while the steering wheel is fully adjustable, that's fantastic, the driver's instrument cluster is affixed to the dashboard. So it means that if you like to have your steering wheel set down low, like I do, boom, there goes half the top of the instrument cluster. You now can't see the bits in the corner. Fortunately, they've figured that out and they haven't actually put any useful information in the corner, at least not on this display setup. The next complaint is that there is no cover for this giant glass roof above us, much like the Tesla Model 3, Model Y. However, in the boot, you will find included in the price of every car a sun shield, which springs into life and you can install it into the car. The only problem is it's a little bit of a faff to get these things installed. Took me about 4 minutes or so to install them, in which I fell into the footwell. Oh, Jesus. And then once I'd extricated myself from the footwell, the sunshade decided to punch me in the face. But once I've got the sunshade installed, it actually looks okay in there. Blocks out a lot of light as well, gives you some privacy. That's the list of things I don't like. Admittedly, that was a pretty pathetic list. The things I like, however, well, that is long. It's easy. It's easier than, well, me. Starting with the towing rating. This thing can handle 1.5 tons of braked towed load. And if you're watching this, BYD, can you loan me one so I can do a towing comparison? Because recently I towed my project car, which is an old Austin that I'm slowly converting to battery power, and I used a Tesla Model 3 and it did a great job, but I'd like to do a similar test using this to see how that tows the same load, to see, do I need to stop and charge as much? Let's find out, BYD. Loan me one of these things with a tow bar, we'll make it happen. Next thing I love is the sound system, the Dyne Audio sound system, 12 speaker system throughout the car. It is clearer than a glass slipper at a Cinderella convention. It is brilliantly, breathtakingly lovely. The only complaint I would have about it is that I think possibly in order to limit the distortion, it caps out the maximum volume not as high as I'd like it to be. And that's because imagine you've got your windows down and it's a sunny day, you're going through the countryside, you want that music up loud, well, it'll only go so loud. Next thing I love is this central display here, which, as you know, can spin. It's also loaded with apps and functionality, and because it runs on its own version of Android Automotive, you can also load your own Android apps into it. Recently I test drove the BYD Dolphin and it had Tinder installed on it, which was interesting. But it also means that you can install karaoke. There's an option there that you can download and install on your car, and each car comes with a data package as well, so you don't have to worry about connecting it to your phone. Another thing I really like about this setup, and I've not seen this in any other car before, is that you can split the screen. So just by pressing that button there we go. Now on the left, I've got my maps, and on the right hand side I've got whatever other apps I want to install here. It's absolutely brilliant. The functionality, the customizability is brilliant. Continuing on my list of weird stuff, I've not seen this in a car before either. You can have adjustable sized cup holders. By pushing the button here, the cup holder comes up, so you can have a smaller cup in there. There's like simple stuff that I've never thought of. Another cool thing this has is over-the-air software updates, so the car will improve over time. And one great example of that is that already an over-the-air software update has been made available for all BYD cars to turn off the noise generator. Yes, apparently my complaints about how awful the noise generators were, according to the BYD dude, my complaints have caused BYD to offer it without the noise generator as an option. So you're welcome. That being said, if you do leave the noise generator on standard mode, which kind of sounds like an ice cream truck from hell, then it means that when you select between reverse and drive, Commodore VIC-20 owners, you'll know what this sounds like. Remember those old computers? You have to load a game by putting an audio cassette in it? Yeah, we had to do that, kids. Then you'll remember the game Pong. Well, listen to that. Does that not sound similar? Does that not remind you of the game Pong? But lastly, the thing I love the most about this car is that it's a sedan. It's coming into 2024 and BYD have released a good-looking sedan. In a world of crossovers and minivans, BYD have given me what I want, a sedan, because when you're a kid at school, you didn't draw minivans and crossovers. No, you drew sedans, the bonnet, the cockpit, the boot. It's a classic shape. What kind of weird kid draws a minivan? Okay, there was always that one weird kid. Overall though, you get the idea. I love this car. It goes like a rocket, it handles great, it's sublimely comfortable, it's wide, it's low, it's fast. It's everything I want in a car. But will the Spudscore like it as much as I do? Well, let's find out. Starting with performance, and I'm awarding it 9 out of 10 Spuds for obvious reasons. It goes like a rocket and it stops like me when it's time to buy the next round. Next is handling, and it gets 8 out of 10. Again, you know why. What about comfort though? Well, again, 8 out of 10. It's got no body roll, no jiggling, no vibration. It's quiet, it's excellent. As for efficiency, 6 out of 10 Spuds. It might weigh almost 2.2 tons, but its sleek shape meant that I averaged around 18 kilowatt hours per 100k. Not bad for a supercar. Gadgetry's next, and 9 out of 10. It's got everything. Value is next, and this performance model gets 6 out of 10 because while it's one of the cheapest supercars you can buy, it's still a bit more than a Nissan Leaf. As for charging, 5 out of 10, which is an average score for both AC and DC charging. I'll try rapid charging again in the upcoming towing video, so let's see if we can't raise that score. Style is next, and it gets a very rare 10 out of 10. No explanation necessary, just look at it. But is it fit for purpose? Well, the performance version is a bit overkill for the school run, but I'm giving it 8 out of 10 because if you look at it as a modern version of the typical Kiwi family sedan like a Camry, Falcon or Commodore replacement, then it's got just as much room, much more grunt, more gadgets, a great tow rating. This car could be part of any Kiwi family and do everything. And lastly, PSC, and I'm giving it 8 out of 10 because with a PSC of 74, it beats the Tesla Model Y by a handful of tubers, which gives a total Spudscore of 77, an excellent score. But if I was given the choice between the Tesla Model 3 performance and the BYD Seal performance, at this moment, right now sitting behind the wheel of the Seal, I'd probably give this one my seal of approval.